You might be wondering the same thing. Let's hear what Cliff has to say.
Then how does that make sense if you're only asking forgiveness from God? If you don't believe in Jesus, if you're a Jew or a Muslim who believes in Jesus as a prophet, and Jews who don't even believe in Jesus as anything other than a historical figure, if you ask for forgiveness from God, isn't that the same thing then? Do you have to be a Christian in order to go to heaven?
Okay, see, what that does is that drives you back to the fundamental question, how do you know who God is? Now, Jesus claimed to be the real, true, living God, opening up and revealing himself for who he really is.
But why did he only reveal himself to only a fraction of people in the middle of the Mediterranean? If he truly was God, wouldn't he have, exposed himself to everyone, to every culture, at every point in time? If he is God and he is infinite and he is omnipresent, then why isn't there the same Jesus figure in Japan, or the same Jesus figure in Africa, or the same Jesus figure in the Americas, even though all these people were living in all these parts of the world at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Why did he only show himself to, say, 10,000 people in ancient Israel and take okay, so here I am, I'm turning water into wine, I'm walking on water, these are my miracles, which are very, compared to the Almighty God and the Old Testament who parted the seas and the 10 plagues and everything, these are very minor miracles compared to everything else. And you're basically asking the people, a very small amount, to take his word and say, okay, this is me, and now go spread the word. And there were many people back in the day that had the same sort of philosophies and claimed to be the messiahs themselves, except Jesus was the one that won in that sense, and that's why we have him here. So why is it that we can't all just believe in one God, ask for forgiveness from this one God, and actually have to take this little separate thing that could or could not be true?
Okay, obviously the greatest miracle that Christ performed was rising from the dead. You and I have a date with death. The question is there life after death? Jesus Christ said, I am the resurrection of the life. He who believes in me will live even though he dies. And then he backed up that claim with an historical resurrection. So that's what sets Christ apart from every other major world religious leader.
And the resurrection was only witnessed by 2 women who didn't write the gospel.
Over 500 people, Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 15, which is 20 years after the fact, saw Christ risen from the dead. And Paul is essentially saying, go out and talk to them if you don't believe me. So Christ appeared not just to 2 women, to over 500 people at different times in different places, risen from the dead.